He thought his expensive car and loud voice made him untouchable. When the real estate broker trapped the elderly woman between vehicles and demanded $2,000 for a scratch that didn't exist, he felt invincible. He didn't notice the shopping cart, 3 spaces away, suddenly stop moving. He didn't see the 6'3" firefighter slowly turn his head toward the commotion. He had no idea that the man watching him had spent 20 years running into burning buildings to save strangers. And he definitely didn't realize that his biggest mistake wasn't the fake accusation. It was forgetting that real strength doesn't need to announce itself. It just shows up. The Arizona sun hung low over the Safeway parking lot at 6:47 in the evening, turning the asphalt into a shimmering lake of heat. The temperature still registered 94 degrees, even as the sky shifted toward pink and orange. Cars packed every available space, their metal bodies radiating stored heat like ovens. The air smelled of hot rubber and exhaust mixed with the faint scent of rotisserie chicken from the store's deli. Linda Morales pushed her shopping cart slowly toward her 17-year-old Toyota Camry, the cart's wheels squeaking with each rotation. She wore a floral print blouse that had a small coffee stain on the collar she hadn't noticed that morning, and a knee-length khaki skirt that had been in style sometime during the Clinton administration. Her bifocal glasses were held together at the bridge with clear tape, and her silver hair was pulled into a messy bun that had mostly given up its structure hours ago. Her hands trembled slightly as she gripped the cart handle. A combination of arthritis and the weight of the canvas bags filled with her carefully selected groceries. Every item had been chosen based on price and necessity. The store-brand cereal, the dented can of soup marked down 50%, the day-old bread. Her teacher's pension didn't leave room for luxuries, only survival. Trevor Ashton's silver BMW 750i came around the corner of the parking lot at a speed completely inappropriate for the crowded space. The engine purred with expensive precision as he scanned for a parking spot close to the entrance. His designer polo shirt had the collar popped in a way that suggested he thought it was still fashionable. His Bluetooth earpiece blinked blue against his salon-tan face, and he gestured animatedly at no one, clearly in the middle of a phone conversation about a real estate deal. He didn't slow down as he approached the pedestrian crosswalk, where Linda was carefully navigating her cart toward her car. His BMW came within 2 feet of her before he slammed on the brakes, the tires screeching against the hot pavement. Linda jumped, her grip on the cart faltering, one of her canvas bags tipping and spilling a container of strawberries onto the ground. Trevor laid on his horn, the aggressive blast echoing across the parking lot. He threw his car into park and erupted from the driver's seat, his face already red with manufactured rage. He screamed at Linda about how she had stepped right in front of him, how she needed to watch where she was going, how elderly people shouldn't be allowed to drive or even walk if they couldn't pay attention. Linda tried to apologize, her voice shaking, attempting to explain that she had been in the crosswalk and hadn't seen him coming so fast. Trevor cut her off immediately. He walked around to the passenger side of his BMW, crouching down dramatically, then stood up with theatrical outrage. He announced loudly that her shopping cart had scratched his car. He said there was a clear mark, a deep gouge in the paint that would cost at least $2,000 to repair properly. Linda's face went pale. She tried to look at where he was pointing, but couldn't see any scratch. She told him she didn't think she had touched his car at all. Trevor's voice grew louder, attracting attention from other shoppers. He told her that of course there was a scratch, that she was probably too old and blind to see it, but that didn't change the fact that she was legally responsible. He demanded her insurance information immediately. Linda fumbled for her purse, her hands trembling worse now, trying to explain that she didn't have much insurance, that she lived on a fixed income, that she couldn't afford $2,000. Trevor told her that wasn't his problem, that maybe she should have thought about that before walking in front of luxury vehicles. He positioned his BMW to block her car, making it impossible for her to leave. Linda's eyes filled with tears. She tried to explain that she needed to get home, that she had frozen items that would spoil, that she didn't know what to do. Trevor pulled out his phone and told her he was calling the police to file an accident report and that she wasn't leaving until he had her information and a payment plan. Other shoppers walked past quickly, avoiding eye contact, not wanting to get involved in the confrontation. One older man looked like he might say something, but his wife pulled him away. Linda stood alone, trapped between her old car and Trevor's BMW. Clutching her purse with shaking hands, strawberries scattered at her feet. Her monthly medication cost absorbed most of her pension. $2,000 might as well have been $2 million. If you believe the vulnerable deserve protection from bullies, please like and subscribe to help us share stories about those brave enough to stand up when everyone else walks away. Marcus Thompson had been loading groceries into his truck 3 spaces away when he heard the horn blast. The Tucson Fire Department t-shirt he wore was stretched across his muscular frame, and his cargo shorts revealed work boots that had seen real labor. His shaved head gleamed with sweat from the evening heat, and the tribal tattoo on his forearm flexed as he lifted a case of water bottles. At first, he tried to ignore it, focusing on organizing the food he'd bought for tonight's dinner shift at Station 12. But Trevor's voice kept rising, carrying clearly across the parking lot. Marcus paused, his hand on another bag, listening. When he heard Trevor demand $2,000 from an elderly woman, something in his chest tightened. He'd spent 20 years responding to emergencies, and his instincts for recognizing when someone needed help had never failed him. He set down the grocery bag carefully and walked toward the confrontation, his stride purposeful but controlled. As he got closer, he could see the elderly woman's face, tear-streaked and terrified. He could see Trevor's aggressive stance, the way he had positioned his car to trap her. Marcus stopped about 6 feet away, his arms crossing over his chest, his 6'3" frame creating an immediate shift in the dynamic. His voice was calm, but carried the kind of authority that comes from commanding emergency scenes. He told Trevor that he had watched the entire incident and that the woman's card had never touched his vehicle. Trevor spun around, his expression shifting from anger to annoyance. He told Marcus to mind his own business, that this was between him and the woman who damaged his property. Marcus didn't raise his voice. He simply pulled out his own phone and held it up. He informed Trevor that he had recorded the last 4 minutes on video, including the part where Trevor was speeding through the parking lot well over the posted 5-mile-per-hour limit and nearly struck a pedestrian in a marked crosswalk. He said the video clearly showed that Linda's car had never come within 3 feet of the BMW. Trevor's confident expression flickered. He insisted there was a scratch, pointing again at the passenger side panel. Marcus walked over, crouched down, and examined the area carefully. He stood back up and stated flatly that there was no scratch, no mark, no damage of any kind. He told Trevor that he could call the police if he wanted, but that Marcus would be happy to provide his video evidence showing attempted fraud and reckless driving. He added that as a firefighter and mandatory reporter, he was also concerned about Trevor's behavior toward a vulnerable adult, which could constitute elder abuse under Arizona law. Trevor's face cycled through several shades of red. He sputtered about how he knew what he saw, how his car was definitely damaged, but his voice had lost its conviction. Marcus stepped slightly closer, not threatening, but his presence alone was enough. He suggested very calmly that Trevor should move his car, apologize to the woman, and consider himself lucky that Marcus was off duty and in a generous mood. He mentioned that several of his colleagues at the fire station had brothers and cousins in the Tucson Police Department who took elder abuse cases very seriously. Trevor's hands trembled as he got back into his BMW. He mumbled something that might have been an apology, though it was directed at his steering wheel rather than Linda. His car reversed quickly, tires squealing slightly, and he disappeared toward the parking lot exit at a much slower speed than he'd entered. Marcus turned to Linda, his expression softening completely. He helped her pick up the scattered strawberries, insisted on buying her a replacement container from the store and helped load her groceries into her car. Before Linda drove away, she thanked Marcus with tears in her eyes. She told him he reminded her of her grandson who had died in Iraq, that his kindness had restored something she thought she'd lost. Marcus hugged her gently and told her that's what neighbors do for each other. The interaction took less than 15 minutes, but it reminded everyone who witnessed it that courage doesn't always mean running into burning buildings. Sometimes it just means standing up when someone can't stand up for themselves. Sometimes it means using your size and authority to protect instead of intimidate. Where are you watching from right now? And if you saw someone terrorizing an elderly person in a parking lot, would you walk past or would you be the one who stopped? Let us know in the comments below.